What's up, guys? Big Papa Drock back with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and as always, hope you are having a wonderful day. It is officially Turtle Week. I'm calling it Turtle Week because I've got a couple of showcase videos to do on these turtles. We've done Raphael. Now it's time for Michelangelo. So we're going to do Michelangelo in today's video, talk about the best ways to build Michelangelo, test him out. I've yet to use him, so I'm excited to see exactly what he can do. I've gone up against a couple all turtle teams in arena in my last video when I was showcasing Nice, and I saw how incredibly strong they can be. So really curious to see how viable they are on their own. And then at the end of this week, hopefully I'll have a chance to put together an all turtle team of my own, either at the end of this week or next week, depending on what's going on. So anyway, guys, let's get started. Let's jump right in to our boy Michelangelo, who is he a barbarian? No, I can't even remember. What the heck is he? Sacred Order, it's so confusing sometimes because none of these guys are in the categories that you think they would be in. So, let's just do this the old school way, and I'll go into my champion collection and find them there. All right, here he is. He is a Banner Lord. Yes, that makes perfect sense. Michelangelo, the Banner Lord. Okay, let's take a look at his skills. First and foremost, the A1, Booyah. Attacks one enemy 2 times. If either hit was critical, places a 50% increase attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. He is an attack-based champion. Cool. Double hitter, self-buff, never a bad thing as long as he hits critically. The A2 Express Delivery. Attacks one enemy before attacking, has a 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff on the target for 2 turns. Has a 75% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Will ignore 25% of the target's resistance if the attack is critical, then applies a debuff spread effect, taking all debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. Will ignore 25% of each target's resistance if the initial attack was critical. So kind of cool, almost like a mythical-esque kit in the ability to ignore resistance. Nice that he has decreased defense, right? Nice that he has stun and then also a debuff spread effect. So for a free champion, doesn't sound that bad. Of course, Michelangelo was the login champion. So overall, not bad. Damage based on attack, of course, and on a 3-turn cooldown, so very quick. Take a look at the A3 Shell Cyclone. Attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff and a leech debuff for 2 turns. Will ignore 25% of each target's resistance if the attack is critical, then places a taunt buff on this champion for 2 turns. So you got to build him with crit. We can already see that right here. A lot of his things get benefits as long as he's hitting for crits. So we definitely want to have him crit capped. He is an attack champion. This is on a 4-turn cooldown when booked. Cool that he has taunt. The biggest question is, how does he stay alive, right? How does he stay alive if he has taunt and he's an attack-based champion? Let's take a look at that passive. Party Dude. Passive effect has a 15% chance to evade an enemy scale and all of its accompanying effects. If this champion is under a taunt buff, chance to evade increases to 30%. Whenever Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, or Raphael attacks, the champion joins in that attack. That, of course, is the best part of the turtles, or one of the best parts. And then the active effect of this is places a shield buff equal to 300% of this champion's attack on this champion for 1 turn when they receive a hit. So that's how he stays alive. Evade. And evade, honestly, is really solid. I mean, we saw that with, God, what is his name? Loki. Where it can be really frustrating when you try to hit somebody and they just evade your stuff. And then also the fact that he shields and it's equivalent to his attack, not bad either. I mean, he's not a tank, right? He's going to get run over relatively quickly, but this certainly helps him stay alive a little bit more by himself, though having the other turtles on the team helps that out a lot. But we'll see that later on in a separate video. Let's take a look at his masteries now. We've got him, essentially, this is pretty standard, I would think, like Helm Smasher. If you're doing PvE content, you, of course, could use War Master instead. I think every turtle benefits from having Methodical, frankly, just because they all use their default skills so much on those turtle attacks. So I think this is pretty much a requirement for basically every turtle, or certainly the damage-dealing ones. And then I'm always a big fan of Cycle of Violence and Whirlwind of Death to get additional speed. So that's how we're rolling. We do need accuracy on him. He is a champion that does require accuracy, so we are going the support tree. And then we can't increase the duration of taunt, of course, so we can't go lasting gifts, but we can go Master Hexer to get additional duration of debuffs. I think you could use these masteries for PvE or PvP. I think the only change is probably a War Master, possibly Life Drinker, instead of Whirlwind of Death. But frankly, this is 100% viable for PvE, but certainly this is a PvP specific build that we're doing here. So those are the masteries. Let's take a look at the relics. Surprise, surprise, cat's gaze. And I really think one of the things that I want to see them do is either one, give us an opportunity to get more of these relics, which supposedly will happen at some time in the future. But like cat's gaze is just the hands down best relic for 99% of attack based champions, right? That are doing damage. And that's what we have here. We're going to look at some additional relics that work as well as also gemstones. But cat's gaze, in my opinion, your number one choice for PvP content. And we'll take a look at PvE options in a second too. All right, so let's look at some different relic options for him beyond just cat's gaze. You of course could go Wand of Submission, phenomenal for PvP, never a bad choice whatsoever. Yeah, you could hypothetically do something like Aspect of Sarath, though I don't think that's a super great one for him, but you could do it to keep the taunt buff up if you wanted to, or even Golden Elixir. I think something like Stormcaller could certainly work for him as well. Something like Gore Crescent. Again, these are lesser options. Malefic Talon. And then if you're doing PvE content, Arethi Coronet. Basically, any champion that does damage that puts out a bunch of debuffs, this is going to be your go-to for PvE content. So don't ignore your Arethis. The Cat's Gaze, of course, we already talked about. Covetous Passion certainly could work as well for PvP. Let's keep scrolling through here. You could do something like Last Laugh Amulet. That's possible. Have him have the delay so he doesn't die. Again, keep the taunt buff going. Dread Bomb could work too. Something that I wish I had. Unfortunately. This actually, by the way, this Bane of Centranos, a much better relic than I realized. This is sneaky good when people are buffing with Stone Skin or buffing with basically any buff. The fact that you have a chance of copying the same buff. I saw this in Arena the other day. I was very surprised at how sneaky good this was. So again, I don't think it's the best option by any stretch of the imagination, but it's worth mentioning. Murder Fang and Essence Quencher, of course, work since they help with damage. So you certainly could do something there. You could absolutely use something like Death Dealer and build him with no crit rate to up his damage, but he's going to be super easy to kill then. So that's the one downside there. I don't think it's the best option for him whatsoever. No, I mean, you could use this for Hydra, Serpentis, but there are other options for sure. And yeah, I think honestly, those are kind of your best bets. The Collective works too, but you're going to lose those buffs at each turn, and that kind of screws up his ability to taunt. So, I think that's the gist of it. I'm going to go Cat's Gaze. I think for PvP, certainly the best option, and then if you're doing PvE, Arethi Coronet, the best option as well. Gemstone wise, pretty much your same kind of stuff. You can do stuff like Bloodthirsty Prowess. If you're using wands, you can certainly do things like, what do we got here? Constant Onslaught, if you've got that. Depending on which relic you're choosing. A lot of different options you can go here. There's a lot of different things you could do to help him in terms of damage, but I think those are some of the better choices. Piercing Strike, of course, could work as well. He doesn't have a ton of multi-hit skills, so you're not going to get a lot of value out of Rolling Force. Yeah, I mean, I also am a big fan of Invigorated, frankly, when it comes to PvP. You really can't go wrong with Invigorated on most champions, since you typically need to build them with some level of speed. So depending on how you're building them, that's going to determine what types of gemstones you're rolling with. We're going to focus mainly on PvP, of course, since that's what I actually care about. But let's go back in there. That covers the gist of that. In terms of what we have on him right now, I pulled this off my Iyasu. So we've got a Invigorated on him. We've got the, next attack does more damage whenever he kills somebody. And then we do have this, which is, again, not really, the best thing for him. I don't think he really has multi-hit skills, right? But it's just what I had on for Iyasu. So the only thing that would get benefit out of that is the A1, but that's okay. Should still do some damage even without that. Let's talk about blessings. You know, surprise, surprise, lightning cage for PvP. This is pretty much your best option nowadays. Could go polymorph still. I think a lot of people still sleep on how good polymorph is for PvP. It's still broken. If you're doing PvE, you could do stuff like crushing rend. You could do stuff like where is it? Nature's Wrath. Again, he's putting out debuffs, so this absolutely works. Depending on what level you're at. If you're at 6 stars, you're probably going crushing rend. If you're at 5 stars or below, you're probably going Nature's Wrath. You could even do something like cracking roots, hypothetically. But I think best overall blessing for him, in my opinion, is going to be Lightning Cage. So that's how I'm rolling. We want to protect his buffs as much as possible, and that will help certainly in PvP. Let's take a look now at the build. Surprise, guys, it's Savage Stone Skin. Pretty much the go-to nuker build 99% of the time, that or Lethal Stone Skin. So we're rolling Savage Stone Skin, also with a little bit of reaction. If you can get reaction on him, that is definitely the preference when you're looking at building him for PvP. Let's take a look at the gear itself. I basically pulled off my absolute best gear from my other champions to put him. So this was on my Yasu quad crit rate roll. Absolutely disgusting. Crit rate, speed, attack percentage. You'll notice we do have accuracy on him because he needs accuracy. We got to have accuracy in order to get value out of him. A 5-star shield, but really good here. Exactly what we need. Don't sleep on mythical 5-star pieces, by the way, guys, especially in sets like Stone Skin or Merciless. Sometimes they can be really damn good. Like, would this be better if it were 6 stars? Of course, but this is still a really solid piece based on where everything landed. So we've got speed and attack percentage with crit rate and crit damage on the boots. And we've got attack percentage, accuracy, speed, crit damage on the chest. You're going to want to go either speed on the boots or attack percentage, depending on how you're building him, depending on how fast you can get him. And then, of course, attack percentage for the chest and seasoned attack champion. And then crit damage with a crit damage, ascension with crit rate, speed, attack, lots of attack on the gloves. Then the aforementioned God tier reaction banner. I pulled this off of my Rhonda. And woof, look at that speed, baby. I can't wait till I get a legendary speed glyph to glyph this bad boy up because it certainly deserves it with the quad roll. Also attack, which is great. Crit damage on the amulet. And then only 5-star, but a triple roll. So we'll take that. Not bad whatsoever on the ring. What does it all add up to? 38k HP. So kind of a glass cannon. Like, this dude, not built to live. Attack is 7,764. Defense 3,286. Speed 282. You do want him to have some speed on him. Ideally, I mean, you can do him slower depending on what level of arena you're at, but the higher you go, usually the faster you want to be sometimes. Although I will say the turtles aren't really going to be speed demons if you're using all of them in one team, which we'll find out later when we do a video on them. Or I should say I should find out because I've actually never tested them myself. And then 361% crit damage with 307 accuracy. If you're building him for PvE, you might need a little bit more accuracy. Remember, he does get that ignore resistance when he crits, but maybe like 350 accuracy or even 400, depending on what content you're looking to do. For PvP, this is absolutely fine. We really want to make sure we have enough attack and crit damage to do more damage. So would love to have a 6-star on him. Such a shame that Plarium never gives away 6 stars, right? When they have all these events, they always give you 5 stars. They love to edge you on that. That is something that I wish would change, where they would actually give away 6 stars, because we know how insanely difficult it is to get that 6-star. But anyway, Stone Skin Savage, I think, is the overall best way to build him. If you're building him for PvE, you could absolutely do something like an entire Feral set, or Feral with, Savage, potentially, if you need more accuracy. You could do Perception, you could do a variety of stuff, but I think you want to do Savage or Lethal or Merciless. That would be the other big build that you could consider. If you could do Merciless with triple reaction for PvP, so 6 pieces of Merciless, triple reaction, or you could just do Merciless with no reaction, depending on if you're doing it for PvE. So I think this is the overall best build. You can use this in PvE as well, so absolutely no problems there. But anyway, that's enough yapping. Let's take him into the dragon and let's see what he does damage-wise. I don't think that this guy is an incredible damage dealer from what I have heard, but it's my first time testing him, so who knows? Maybe he'll surprise me. Maybe he will surprise me. You never know. And I've waited so long to build him, frankly. I needed to build him a lot earlier, but I was really slacking on building these turtles. Still haven't built Donatello. I just built Leonardo, but haven't tested him yet. I did do a Raphael test, of course, who's a damn good champion, and found out some nice little secrets about his kit that aren't written in his skills. So make sure to check out that video if you haven't already. And I think we just go Arbiter. I've been liking these Arbiter tests recently. Feels like the old days instead of Shuzem. Okay, in we go. Let's see what he does damage-wise. All right, Lydia throwing out our debuffs, getting our increased attack. He does have the stone skin on him. Let's start with, let's see, we'll start with the A2 or the A3. Let's start with the A3. Shell Cyclone, 296, 257. Yeah, it's nothing incredible. Like the damage isn't super great. We can already see, like, didn't manage to kill everybody, even with decreased defense and weaken. So not anything phenomenal by any stretch of the imagination. But that's okay. We'll do it again and see if maybe we didn't proc Helm Smasher there. 308, 338. Yeah, so it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? It's not great. He is not so far an incredible damage dealer. There are champions that hit significantly harder than him. I think he's one of the turtles that, besides Donatello, isn't really going to be the damage dealers, right? Like Raphael, Leonardo, those are your big boy nukers. And then Mikey's kind of like your hybrid. He's almost like a hybrid support in some ways, like a hybrid support with his kit a little bit. So let's go to the A2 now. This is the single hit that stuns and then applies a debuff spread. Yikes. That's pretty damn weak. For a single hit, that's not really great. Disappointing. Disappointing. Let's try the A1. Let's see how the A1 hits. All right, A1's not bad, 300K. You know, not like incredible, but certainly not bad at all. That A2 is very disappointing. Let's go again. Let's do another test here. The more I see of him, the more I'm like, yeah, this is definitely somebody you'd want to ideally run with the other turtles. All right, let's try this again with the A2. 326. Yeah, I mean, like, your debuff spreading. So I guess that's really one of the big values you're getting out of that. For an arena or PvP type champion, it's certainly not impressive. I think you're going to get the most value out of this champion when he's running with other turtles, which is no surprise. He's the free champion, right? Like typically the free champion, the login champion, is going to be the worst of the bunch. And then the other champions that are fusions or shard pulls or events are going to be better. And I can already tell you that that is the case here. Is he a bad champion? I don't think so, but we'll take him into arena and see what he can do. All right. So overall, damage-wise, meh. This isn't going to be your main damage dealer on your team. Like, I don't even need to do arena to know that. Like, he is definitely not going to be your main guy when it comes to doing damage on your team. So let's go ahead. Let's take him in there. Let's just see, you know, can he do anything in arena as the main guy? Can he do something? No, but we're going to try anyway. All right. I like this. He doesn't get the speed boost, but that's okay. Starting off with the classic Marius team. All right. Shuzem might die here. What the hell was that? Why didn't... That's really strange. I guess he should have... Oh, I guess no, he's not turned because he's in Stone Skin. I was like, wait a second. But he blasted me off the bat. Okay. All right, let's just go jump right in. Let's just nuke. Nuke right off the bat in arena. I mean, we've got decreased defense up. This should be a clean wipe with the exception of Odin. Certainly good enough there. The taunt is up. So no problems there. I mean, hey, look, he did it. We are in the equivalent of Platinum Arena, by the way. I'm recording this on a Sunday, so we're past the Platinum time frame, but we are in the same points level as platinum would be. This is a very scary team to go against. Let's give it a shot. I think we're probably going to get wrecked here, especially with the taunt buff. I don't think he's a Taurus Marichka killer, and Neve being on the team, yeah, that doesn't look very fun. that's not what we want to see. We're not even going to use that ability. We're just going to chill. Okay, they've got a resistance Marichka and a resistance Galathier. Oof. All right. I could try to AoE here and place the taunt buff. I think this is worth doing to see how the evade works. Right? Let's do it. He should live this counterattack, I would hope. Good Lord. Oh, Jesus Christ. Blasted right through the stone skin. Holy smokes. Absolutely pounded through the stone skin. This is like the downside to using these kind of champions in arena, is that some champions just hit so hard. And when you have a champion that is attack based, stone skin really isn't super useful most of the time. Like think of Georgia. It's useful to prevent turn meter decrease. It's useful to prevent like weaker units from hurting you or putting on debuffs or controlling. It's really not good when you have a champion that can actually do nasty damage like our good buddy Taurus can. So yeah, I mean, he just blasted right through the stone skin and absolutely kneecapped me. The taunt buff is up. We did just get a party dude activation, so we did ignore or evade that attack, which is pretty cool. And we did get the shield boost as well. But I mean, thankfully the block damage doing a lot of work for us right here. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, perfect. We can drill down the Marichka. Odin helping us out a ton right now, which is to be expected. I mean, frankly, Mikey just got decked. Now, this is a great here. We should be able to debuff spread this. Well, I'm not on the Galathier. It's going to have too much resistance. But let's see how it goes. See how this damage does on the Taurus. Okay, that wasn't horrible damage. You know what I mean? Taurus super hard to kill. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible either. I'm somewhat surprised that did better than I thought. Neve is just so nasty, man. I tell you what, such a nasty champion. And block damage, such a pain in the ass to deal with in arena. Like genuinely such a massive pain in the ass. A1, not too bad, doing a little bit of damage. I mean, this is a very tough team, right? We're putting him up against a really tough team. This is like one of the meta teams you might find. Taurus, Marichka, Galathier, Neve. Super hard to deal with. And now we've lost our Odin. And I think we're probably cooked here. We just don't have enough damage. We still don't have enough damage. Taurus Marichka is just too hard. Party dude coming into play, though. Oh, didn't come into play there, though. Oh, God. This is the downside to the taunt buff. The taunt just makes him get absolutely wrecked. And we got reflected from a wand there as well. And he's cooked. Okay. He's not going to be your Taurus Marichka killer, but frankly, that shouldn't come as a surprise. He's not that kind of champion. Let's see who else he can take down, though. So, challenging team, very high power level, very, very good builds. Damn, Cheshire Cat legitimately looks sick, by the way. So, no surprise. Ultra meta teams, when it comes to PvP, Mikey is not your answer by himself. I think the more turtles you add in, the more it starts to get a little interesting. right? Especially with those additional attacks, which, you know what? I actually have, just for giggles, I'm not going to do a full turtle team, but I do have. What do I want to do here? I mean, Raphael. Hmm. I could throw Raphael in here. I think he's built. So why don't we do that? Let's throw him in with Mikey. Just get 2 turtles on a team and see how that feels. And actually, you know what? I'm going to go Crixia, actually. Think she's built right now? We'll find out. We'll put Raph in the back. Is he built? He is indeed built. Cool. All right. Let's see if this makes a difference. We get a little bit of the turtle bonus now. Now, the only problem is we're still dealing, unfortunately, with the, downside of Neve. Neve putting up all these block damage buffs. Super tough to deal with. Oh, also my Crixia is not in Stone Skin. That's a problem. Thought she was. We are in trouble now, boys. Down she goes. She's cooked. And Raphael is cooked. Jesus Christ. You know, in my head, this went better. In my head, I thought, what a fun idea this will be. What a fun, exciting idea. Holy hell, that barely did any damage at all. Is that because of reaction? Jesus. Well, in my head, that went better. I thought maybe Raphael comes in there and he does some cool stuff, but no. No, it didn't work like that. Oh, God. These are also, I mean, some of these are super tough teams, right? This is an interesting one. Let's take Raphael out. We'll go back to Odin for the speed. And we'll throw Warlord back in there as well. Actually, we could roll Crixia on this. Let's do Crixia. So far, Michelangelo is okay, like at best. He's definitely the worst turtle, in my opinion. All right, we got some buffs off, but then we're about to get cooked. Hey, he lived. He lived. You love to see it. Damn, dude. All right, we're sort of living. We're making it work. Oh, we're cooked now. We're cooked now. Well, you just did a pain link. Interesting. All right, well, let's kill everybody and yourself. Oh no. This is not going well. Timing wise, though, we were really struggling there. Timing wise, this team is not speed tuned, and frankly, if you're trying to go first, you need to actually go first, as opposed to not going first. And we just got wanded. Oh, but he got sheeped. Okay, this is Raid Shadow Legends fight right here, boys. We are Raid Shadow Legending hard. I mean, we're not going to be able to get him back, but he's also probably going to die here from Odin, so just hit him. Yeah, he lived. But now we get cooked. Oh, now we won. Jesus Christ. This just goes to show how much of a I'm going to be completely honest, how much of a shit show PvP has become in this game. It's just an RNG fest. I mean, look at this shit. What they do to my boy? You know what I mean? I feel like Marlon Brando and The Godfather. They massacred my boy. Look what they did to my boy. I mean, God almighty, man. The amount of RNG in this game has it's just gotten ridiculous. Just straight up. Insane amount of RNG. Okay, he's back. He's back though, boys. Hold on. We might do it. Michelangelo, save us. I mean, technically Odin, thank you for saving us, but hopefully Michelangelo can pull it off. Show me your power, Michelangelo. This is your chance. This should be an easy kill. He should have this. He's buffed. Jesus Christ, when does he get his turn? How slow is this damn champion? Okay, he got there eventually, but he doesn't have his AoE. Who is the most dangerous champion here? Probably Odin is the biggest pain in the ass. Let's go with Odin. There you go. Look at that. Beautiful. Incredible. Michelangelo doing a phenomenal work here, killing that Gizmac right there. Ignore the Odin that did that. Now he's frozen again. Holy crap, man. Jesus. Sometimes doing these tests just cracks me up, man. It's just like you don't know what's going to happen at any time. There's no turn order. There's no indication of what's going on at all. But hey, you know what? We did it, boys. And we can confidently say that Michelangelo was absolutely not the reason we won that fight. It was 99% Odin. Look, I can keep running this champion into super high-end teams. Here's the reality. He's not meant to be a high-end arena champion by himself. His kit is subpar when it comes to if you're looking at specifically PvP. I think he has more use in PvE. I absolutely think that he's a champion that if you put him on a Hydra team with the other turtles can do a lot of work, right? And that's really like that's the power of the turtles. The power of the turtles is togetherness. What they can accomplish together is what makes them so incredibly good. When you have only one of them, it's a lot harder, right? It's a lot harder. Depending on the turtle. I should say when you have only this turtle, it's a lot harder because he's just not meant for this. I'm still glad we're testing him. Like, it's nice to see. It's good to see like what he is capable of versus what he's not. And again, as the free turtle, I love getting idea of what the free login champions do more than anything else because they're the ones that you get no matter what. You know, you get just for playing the game. So let's see. This is not a double hitter, so it's not going to be enough to kill the nice. And we have bad affinity since we're spirit. But let's see if we can debuff spread. Okay, we did get a debuff spread, but so what? Tried to strip. That didn't work. Yikes. And here's the other thing too. We're using him. Oh, that's not good. We're using him with really good champions. You know what I mean? Okay, that should kill the nice, I think. Yes, did kill the nice. Okay. Now, unfortunately, the Marichka's still up, so I don't know how in the world we can possibly win this. But we're going to try. We're going to try. Do I just kill? I think I just have to kill the Ashnar. Let's try to decrease her turn meter. Give him some speed. Maybe we can pull it off. I do love the self buff, and I do like the passive. He just doesn't do enough damage for arena specifically. But again, he's like a hybrid support. He's not meant to be the main damage dealer. Okay. Now comes the question mark. Can we get the turn meter increase to get the Shuzen to go first? And the answer is no. But it worked. Okay. Ugh, this is where it's going to get ugly, though. I don't think we can kill nice. Yeah, and it was a weak hit. Rough. We're about to get clapped. Oh, no. Can he evade? He's got the taunt up. Okay, well, shit. That just got absolutely clipped by that knife. You just got wrecked. All right, I've seen enough. We don't need to see any more of the pain. We're gonna do a PVE video with all the turtles. So there will be PVE testing of this champion, but I'm gonna save that for all the turtles. Uh, Look, here's the reality. Michelangelo, like I said, is not your go-to arena champion if you are an endgame player. He is the definition of mediocre at best. Um, I am certain that he is very good when combined with three other turtles because I've faced that team and it's disgusting. But when it comes to his kit, really where he's let down is the fact that he's an attack champion and you still only have a 30% chance to ignore, or I should say, to evade people doing damage to you after you put a taunt buff up. For PvE, this is less of a problem. For PvP, it's a serious issue because some of these champions hit super hard. And if they do manage to hit you, you're basically cooked. He also struggles with damage. He is not a good damage dealer. Like, this is a damn good build with a cat's gaze, really solid stats, lots of crit damage, solid attack. He's just very easy to kill. He's glass cannon. And on top of that, he doesn't do a lot of damage, even with super good gear. So, as far as login champions go, if I were grading him by himself, like, let's take a look at the reviews. The reviews are actually not bad. I think this is super overrating him, or I should say, maybe taking into account the fact that he can team up with other turtles. I think when you take into account the team up turtle stuff that's going on, he's a 5. You know what I mean? Like, all the turtles are a 5 when they're together. They're incredible. The team looks phenomenal. I've seen what it can do. I'm excited to do my own video showing what it can do and to experience it firsthand. But if I were looking at him by himself, if I were just grading solely on his own, on his kit by himself, from a PvP perspective, I think he is a 2 or a 3. From a PvE perspective, I think he's a 3 or a 4. I think there are better PvE champions out there that do the same kind of stuff that he can do, that are easier to keep alive. Yeah, I think he's just okay. Which, hey, he's a free login champion. They're not all going to be incredible. So it doesn't bother me that much. But I can't wait to put him in that full turtle team and to unleash hell, because God knows the full turtle team and that passive, the fact that they always attack, should be absolutely phenomenal in basically almost every area of the game. So I'm really excited to test that. But by himself, Michelangelo, just all right. Not a great arena champion. There are many better options out there. And I would say probably just an okay PvE champion. Although you could make an argument that he is viable for stuff like Chimera. He could help you with some of these Chimera quests or trials, I should say. I can never remember how the hell to access the trials. What do I need to do here? Do I have to go into here to look at the trials? Yes. It's annoying. He certainly could help with some of these things. We can decrease defense. Yeah, decrease defense. Decrease leech. He does have leech, so that works as well. I mean, I think he's just an okay kind of trials, Chimera trials champion as well. Frankly, I was going to remember, like, decrease attack. He does have that. Yeah. Okay. I think he's just an okay Chimera champion too. I think he's probably, more of a Hydra, maybe a Chimera on his own. But again, like, if you have Michelangelo, you probably have at least one other turtle, or at least you tried to get another turtle. And that's where you see his value increase. The more turtles you have, the more viable they are, depending on which turtles they are. Like, I would say Michelangelo plus Donatello is better than Michelangelo plus Raphael, because you have Donatello to keep him alive, or even Michelangelo plus Leonardo. But we're going to do an all turtle video at some point. That's my feeling on Michelangelo by himself. Hope this video was helpful as you consider your own builds for this champion, and can't wait to test him out with all the other turtles and see how viable that team is. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, hype the video, like it, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Leave some fun comments down below about what you think of Michelangelo. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? And maybe what turtle is your favorite? I'd love to know that. I'll probably ask that again when I do the all turtle video too, but I'll ask it now, because why not? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Much love. Tell somebody that you love them, maybe a friend or a family member, and I will catch you on a video soon. Big Papa Drock?